Welcome back to whatever the fuck you're watching. So we've been shooting AKs a lot, and we decided, you know what, let's...
We've been shooting AKs for the better part of the last 18 hours.
When they let us.
Yeah, when the AKs let us shoot the AKs, which is only about 50% of that. And for fun, we're like, hey, let's run all these drills with an AR-15. Because we did bring backup guns, because we were not very confident, and we were proven right. And
also, what if shit kicks off while we're out here? You need like an actual get-home fighting rifle. You can't just do it on the back of an AK.
so we figured, you know, for fun, let's talk about our rifles that we brought here today. Because these are not review guns. You're not reviewing that because you have a respectable job and not a YouTuber. You're not reviewing that right now because this is just your setup.
Already reviewed it. Yeah.
Yeah, already reviewed it, and this is my regular old gun. One of us, you want to start us off with your totally unique...
Yeah, so the main difference between my gun and your guys' guns is that this is an 11.5, not an 11.5 or an 11.5. This is an 11.5, so that's what really sets it apart. But yeah, this is my best gun with my best stuff on it, which is probably the way your serious gun should be set up.
Which means you're going to change it in about 2 weeks.
No, I don't have to change it because now I'm not curious. I don't... The only thing that I'm
said that last time too.
That I'm actually like experimenting with is the Hux, and I already know from your experience with the Hux that I'm going to keep it on there forever. So, yeah, good to go. This is the Munition Works Crane K prototype.
So is that a full power PEC on the front?
So this is a PEC full power black, objectively the correct color because you have to match the colors. Everybody knows that. I'm allowed to have a little bit of green accenting, which I have in the rail covers. Tasteful green accenting, yeah. It's not painted because I don't want to fucking ruin it. Black River Tactical Cold Hammer Forged Chrome Lined Barrel. Hux Works 5.56K flow.
How are you liking the flow right now? How did you describe it to me?
I said it's the only suppressor that doesn't make your gun any worse. It doesn't make it as quiet as a lot of other cans. That one especially. But it doesn't have like any downsides.
It's kind of like a...
It's like a free bonus upgrade.
Like a Zomboid perk. You know how in Zomboid you pick the perks and it's like +6 but -4 or something like that? That's every single can.
Yep.
Like this can, right? Very good sound suppression. You have cancer. This one,
back pressure.
This one is, you don't get as much sound performance, but you also don't really get any negatives other than very minor weight on the front. Why'd you go with the PEC 15? Because you've been a Steiner user is about the most I could describe it as.
Yeah, well, I don't know.
I guess you wanted full power, so it was between one of these, probably.
Yeah, so it's either a used gray market laser or it's a D-ball D2, and I had the D2 for a long time, but man, it is, 12.5 ounces. This is 7.5 ounces, so that's over 1/4 pound off the front of the gun.
And you're never buying them all.
And I'm not going to buy them all because $3,700 or whatever they're up to now is insanity. And then Surefire 340 dual fuel turbo. I don't like rechargeable batteries, but I do like Candela. Turns out, Candela's pretty good. And then Surefire SR07 DIT dual tape switch.
Have you had any issues with that? Mine shit out. Like mine completely fucking broke.
No, never.
Really?
Yeah.
Weird.
EOTech EXPS 3-1 single dot version.
The best night vision optics of all
Essentially
time.
the best, yeah, because that circle doesn't really do much for you, I don't think. Especially under nods, all it does is potentially get in the way of the target. So, fantastic night vision performance. I like EOTech's G33 magnifier because I think it's still the best EOTech magnifier. The shorties are harder to mount because the bodies are shorter. So this one allows me to mount it where I want it and still get the eye relief that I want. So, yeah. At least I'll, in the default mount. This is an HRF Concepts AMC armored magnifier cover, which is very necessary with the EOTech magnifiers because the turrets have no detents or anything. They just free spin. So every time you pull it over, you're going to be pawing at the turrets. Then your dot's going to be off center. And if you have crippling OCD, like some people I know,
you'd shoot yourself before
then you're
you
like,
prosecute
oh God,
that
I can't
target.
possibly shoot the target with this dot slightly off center in the window. So definitely helps.
How do you like the HRF mag?
HRF, yeah. So HRF Concepts Magwell. They got an acronym for that, I'm sure. I have that on 2 different guns. Actually, both of my Munition Works guns have the HRF Magwell.
That's a night vision thing, right?
It's just, so much better for finding that target under night vision without having to look down, without having to like cheat with ambient lighting, and then you finally shoot in a really dark environment and you're screwed. You're like, oh, it seems so easy and I could see. Then that, I don't know if I can
Oh, new Magpul
Schmid,
stock.
2-stage trigger,
I didn't
Magpul,
notice that.
K2 grip, Magpul DT stock, the new best stock of all time. T-Rex arm sling. Some people would call it boring.
That's the
I
point.
say those people are boring.
Let's talk about your rifle. It's the same fucking rifle.
The same thing as fucking Hop. So
Like
Hop,
Hop does. Like people think Hop lives in Utah and hangs out with us.
yeah.
He lives.
I've never seen these people before in my life.
He lives 15 hours away. So
I don't know. I guess I'll go over the differences of mine compared to Hop's. I mean,
Yeah.
because essentially, then that'll take what, fucking 2 minutes. So, Surefire RC2, fucking
that's got to
Tried
be one of the best cans of
tried
all
and
time.
true
best
can.
can.
The other best
fucking-
can.
I think we might have the 3 best 5.56 rifle cans on the market on our guns
Yeah.
right now.
I mean, signature reduction,
Insane.
best in
Yeah.
class. I mean, the tone's okay. Definitely not as quiet as that. But, yeah. I don't know. Probably put like 10,000 rounds through it now. Never had a fucking issue.
And
so.
it's a really, like, when you have one of these on your team, the morale just goes through the roof. Because then you get to watch this motherfucker try to take it off, and he refused to shoot it off. So 3 people are, like, how many idiots does it take to take off a carbon lock can?
Get the Labyrinth seal.
Why would I
if
get
you
the
run
labyrinth kill?
these-
I refuse to fucking run one of these things because I don't want to shoot my can off.
Don't get a war comp like I did, and then I had to replace all 4 of them on my fucking rifle.
Wow, that's a $500 mistake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll go from fucking
Yeah.
top to bottom.
Hey, you got the tasteful.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
the
fucking-
advantage of the D2 is like Steiner's customer service may be slow, but they will take care of you. So if you bust that D2, they'll fix it or replace it for you
Unlike both of these
for
lasers.
gray
basically
market,
for
you're
free,
fucked.
probably. Whereas, yeah, if the spec dies,
You're
then
done.
I'm just like, whoops, that's $2,000 I don't ever get to see again.
Yeah. Put the Villain Weapon Systems diffuser on it.
Huge upgrade.
That's almost mandatory for that thing,
Yeah.
I think.
So if you're in fucking rooms or shit, and just fucking nice good spill on it, so that nice focus beam. And I don't know why, but people always ask me why I put zip ties on my shit, but it's just a military habit, like dummy cording stuff. It's a big, how much these go for? Fucking $1,200-$1,300. That'd be a big fucking oof if I lost that. So yeah, I zip tie all my expensive shit. So
What if you lose that 6-cent zip tie, though?
if I lose
Buy
what?
a new one?
The
You
zip
lose
tie?
the zip tie, you just gotta buy a new zip tie.
He actually melts the
Yeah.
ends back together and then sticks a
can't
knife
see
in
it,
You
it.
don't have
I've-
big army paying for your zip ties
Yeah,
anymore.
you can't see it, but I plastic welded it underneath the guard. So I'm running the same light as Hop. Fucking the mini turbos
I
are
like-
fucking awesome.
I'll get to that in a second. but
Okay.
Yeah, I'm a big fan.
Besides that, because
Is that Geisley upper, right?
Geisley 11.5 URGI
Geisley rail,
upper, yeah,
thick
that's-
Cold
ass
hammer
boy.
forged, right?
Cold Hammer Forge, yes.
Are you're Cole Hammer Forge?
Yep. I like that you did the rails, the panels on the diagonals. You get that kind of triangular feel.
I
Fucking love doing
I
that.
try to shave weight everywhere I can, even if it's a few little fucking.
When you got a Geisley rail, you have to.
Yeah.
You have to shave weight.
And the D2, so I'm like, I want this thing as light as possible.
I know what. Instead of having 9 rail covers, I'll have 6.
But I want to try out this Unity Axon, and it's been good to me so far. And it's a little bit smaller, so it takes up less rail estate. Only takes up, inch and a half
Unfortunately,
or
it just
so.
has 400 feet of down lead. That's the
Yeah, you can't see it, but I stuffed fucking all of it just in there in that crevice.
Like, I don't know what the use case. Like, do they expect us to mount it by the mag well, or?
I don't
That's what I thought
fucking
it
know.
was. Maybe it was for use with like a skiff or one of those things where you have to like run it all the way back. But then why did they put the leads coming out the front if they thought you were going to run it backwards? So yeah,
I
it
don't
is
fucking
just
know.
like, what if you've got a 15-inch handguard, but you just really want the buttons away at the back?
Right in there,
Yeah.
like that Navy guy chicken fucking wing in his fucking backwards VCOG M4.
God bless that man.
God bless America, dude. Yep.
And God bless the people who just let him do it.
And then the other difference is, well, because I have a big fucking D2 at 12 o'clock, I had to bump my fucking EOTech up a bit to
So
get over that.
did you do this for night vision reasons, or mostly
Night-
because to get over the
both,
D2? Yeah.
both, but I'm probably just coping for the D2.
Okay.
So yeah,
Yeah.
when you shoot
You couldn't
like
afford
a,
them all, so you got to.
yeah. Magnifier.
Well, that's a 5.
It's a G45, so 5 times magnifier. Yeah, well, I mean, you and I live in Utah, so I think we can get all the magnification we can get is good. I tried the 3. I don't know why, but I want to try the 5 instead. So, through-
So I have this exact setup on my 300 blackout, except it's the 3,
yeah,
the micro 3. Yeah.
I thought fucking I'll take all the magnification I can get.
I really appreciate your color theming here, by the way.
like tan.
Holy fuck, that's
like tan.
Like the tan, like
I know Hop's opinion on this, so he doesn't like tan
I don't
rifles.
have opinions. Anybody who says I do is a fucking liar.
Pretty much. I love the HRF magwell as well. Like you say, under night vision makes it fucking 20 times easier.
I wanted one really bad, and I saw the price tag, and I just flipped the fuck out.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. People will like see 3D printed stuff, and yeah, what is it? $57 for a plastic magwell.
It's
But
like
it
80
also
bucks for
has,
shipping.
it's also got a bunch of like metal inserts in it, so there's a little more going on, and then there's the screws, and then there's the fact that like you can't quickly 3D print shit. It takes fucking forever. So like it's machine time, I guess. And like almost everything 3D printed, if you could just make it out of injection molded plastic, it would be so much cheaper and probably a little bit better.
But like the start injection molds are
Yeah.
like 500
Got
thou
a million bucks to put
300
up, yeah.
pound, yeah, thou a piece.
And they've got multiple versions. There's a mil-spec magwell, aero magwell.
So yeah, HRF magwell. I guess you went over your sling. Mine's just a fucking Blue Force Gear fucking
I used
padded
to
one.
run those
I
all
love
the
these
time,
slings.
yeah.
Running them on a few rifles and never had any issues. Well-made slings. But yeah, is
Yours
yours
trigger?
MBT? MBT.
All right, respect.
Usually what I got in most of my rifles.
Not me, not anymore.
Your
Schmids.
Schmid gang?
Schmids are good too.
I'm all in Schmid.
Oh yeah, you can tell that's an RC2.
But
You can tell it's a D2. You can tell it's a Geisley rail. Like,
You have a lot of shit on the front, huh?
give me my
you
mag.
can just do this, dude, and fucking lighten her up real fucking fast. She's a nice light little fucking carbine now.
All right, my guy. I feel a little out of character here because I'm not running a Elcan for once, but my other 11.5 has an Elcan. It's very similarly set up to this, but this one isn't. So we're all running the same fucking light, funnily enough. So I got a Surefire Turbo.
Is it on right now, or is it just reflecting?
It's reflecting aggressively. Maybe maybe I did need 100
Maybe you
concepts.
need a 100 Concepts light cap.
Fuck me. Like this has been reflecting into my eyeball this whole time. But honestly, I prefer the single cell because I don't need that much candela for a utility light on my gun. So one CR123 for what 55,000 candela, something 700 lumens or whatever it ends up being.
Yeah.
What's on the 640? What's the difference?
The biggest difference with the 640 is that if you have to run it on two CR123s, it has very little drop in output compared to an 18650, whereas the 340 basically goes half. But still, this on half performance is about as powerful as the new HLX Pro Protax.
Or it's powerful as the Mod Light PLV H2 or whatever it's called.
Yeah, the medium one.
Yeah,
not the Throw Monster.
Not the OKW, the other one. Polonium. I'm a big fan of this can. It's light, it's cheap, it gets the job done, right?
It's fucking quiet.
It's quiet. It's funny because you have the K on a 14.5, and I have a medium, a duty, whatever you want to call it,
Regular.
on a short rifle, and that's an interesting comparison because the overall length ends up very similar, right? You have a gun that goes to here, but the can is short, but the barrel is long. I have a gun that goes to here, the can is long, the barrel is shorter.
Yours seems a little bit quieter, but I do have an extra inch of velocity, so it's like, yeah, what are you after?
Yeah. I'm a fan of this a little more. I think we all are kind of in the same boat for general purpose grab and go rifles. Performance 100 and in is 99% of it, and everything else is gravy on top in the general purpose nature.
So, not to interrupt your tip to butt flow, but you do have a way to tune gas on this gun. I don't, other than buffer weight. So this is an A5H0. I don't have to tune it. What, do you have any, like, just a heavy buffer in there?
You talking to me or Brock?
Him.
Chris.
So I put an H2 in here as well as a Springco Blue, which is 15% extra ump, I think it is. And then bootleg BCG, adjustable BCG.
And a bootleg?
Yeah. I found that Springco Blue is kind of necessary when you're shooting suppress because your rifle gets kind of fucking dirty real fast, especially with metal mags. With like a regular carbine strength spring, it'll kind of get stuck halfway.
Like on the reloads,
when you're bolt lock back, you go to reload a metal fucking GI mag, whatever, it'll get stuck like halfway through, and you're gonna have to fucking re-rack it and then forward assist to get it in. But that Springco Blue just gives you just a little bit extra oomph to get through all that shit in your rifle.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
the bootleg BCG is awesome. That thing's fucking great, especially with a high back pressure cans like a Polonium or an RC2.
Yeah, this one actually needs the bootleg. So speaking of which, my gas system, I have a H2, a white spring, but I have the bootleg on full chooch.
Now, what is white spring?
White spring is one down from blue.
Okay. It's like 10% maybe or something like that?
Yeah, it's a little weaker than blue.
Okay.
But it's
There's also hot white, so I think white might be 5, hot white's 10 or something like that.
I don't know.
I'm not really
They've
sure why
too
they had to
many.
call it hot white, because it just makes you
Yeah.
feel uncomfortable.
I thought you liked it.
Is that his white person face you were talking about earlier?
It is a white person face.
The
Okay.
expression of my people.
Yeah. God, this gun is so fucking dirty, which is why you need that spring. It's not really for cycling under normal conditions. It's as the gun gets dirty or you introduce a lot of dirt on the way back, you need that little extra oomph, especially on a full mag. I'm running like the alternate version of that, right? He's running the PEC. I'm running the literal gray market gray PEC 15A A3 or A2. I like this one a lot more because I like the ability of being on the correct setting that I want to be and then safing the unit into the off position. Dude, I was shooting this gun out the other day and I was outperforming my 6.5, half MOA gun at range. Now, that was comfort. Like, I knew what I needed to do with this gun. I didn't know what I needed to do with that. There were some issues with that, you name it. But love the PLXC. Reticle could use some work, but it's not terrible in the grand scheme of things. And easily one of the top reticles. Just could be a little better. And the 1X is amazing, and it has 8X. So it really kind of is one of the quintessential general purpose rifles, right? You can have your cake and eat it too. I have a red dot on top. 100% I don't use this thing at all, except for passive aiming. Right? That's the only reason it's on the gun at all. That's more or less, I think. Oh, MBT trigger, K grip, spray painted so the rifle's ruined. I thought this was interesting. All 11.5s?
Yep.
All cold hammer forged.
Yeah.
So this is Geisley cold hammer forged. Geisley cold hammer forged.
Black River Tactical. Don't know who makes it for him. Might be Geisley.
Probably Geisley or DD or FN.
Yeah, one of the usual suspects.
So I want to try out DD cold hammer forged. I think they might be a little better than Geisley cold hammer forged, but TBD. I'm a fan of cold hammer forged because these are just my rifles that, I want to like kind of sits in the corner of the room, and when you go on a trip and you want to rely on it, it's good to go. Not that a normal barrel couldn't do that, but as you have more and more rifles in inventory, 6,000 round barrel life starts to become very obnoxious when it requires a chronoing session, building back confidence, re-zeroing, doing all that nonsense.
Yeah, you build a gun, you shoot a fuck ton of rounds through it, and then you still want it to also be ready to go for an indefinite period of time. So,
other than that,
I got a question for Hop.
Yeah.
Kind of getting off to the weeds here, but say like you and I both have optics that require batteries. It's an EOTech, that probably won't break, but say in the off chance it does, like you don't run backup iron sights. I don't either. What's your thought process on that?
So my theory is if it runs out of battery, I've got fucking CR123s on the gun, so 2 in there, so that's 1 for the optic, 1 for the light.
Okay.
And I don't think it will break because EOTechs are known for not breaking. Also for the laser. So yeah, depending on whatever runs out of battery, I've got 2 backup batteries. But yeah, I do like backup iron sights. Okay. And when I had a D-Ball D2 and I had a different optic stack, I had the leaf sight on the D-Ball D2, and I did have a rear. And yeah, most of my other guns have backup sight systems. But on this one, yeah, it's like I feel pretty good about this.
Yeah, I do too. I think EOTechs are pretty fucking proven.
So. I can take that a step further, right?
Okay.
Let's just imagine the worst case scenario where when you step off the wire, so to speak, you're out there for 6 to 24 hours. With an EOTech, you step out and then you notice at some point the reticle is blinking.
Sure.
Fuck, I need a new battery. That blinking will get you to 2 to 3 days of operations, right? It's 25% batteries. Like you'll make it, especially since at nighttime you're going to be running in a really low setting.
Yeah.
So in my opinion, it's like there's enough reserve when the optic yells at you to switch the battery, when the smoke detector alarm comes on, right? It lets you know, and you still have enough operational time that surely you will be home within a week to swap out the battery. So I'm not too worried about that.
Yeah.
God, that looks so fucking good in the tan.
I don't know.
The dopamine levels in my brain were like when the rifle was done. So yeah, serotonin spike.
I've apparently ruined mine with all this spray paint.
Ruined or made better?
I thought you just said you hated spray paint.
No, spray paint definitely can ruin a gun. You just have to make sure you're never going to change it ever again.
Oh, you changed all the time.
This one is actually one of the only guns that I could spray paint, but I also kind of like it with the black and green combo, so fuck it.
What, the fucking 2% of total volume green?
And the sling is green.
Oh, speaking of which, my homie's Flatline Fiber Coat, my favorite sling of all time. It's got the padding of this without being 27 fucking miles wide.
This one is thick.
So it's padding, but it's not no padding, which I don't like no padding because that tends to invert on itself. And but it is padding, but it's not that thick. Love me some fiber coats. Okay, let's wrap this bitch up.
11.5 ARs.
The new,
They're good guns.
good guns, Brett.
Good stuff.
Good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I need a piece. So
I like them.